Yo, what's going on, man? Today is June the 14th, 2024. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn NBA Show where we're live on Twitter, also live on YouTube as well. We got a NBA Finals game for today, and we got two WNBA games that we're gonna jump right into. Um, and Before we do so, we'll get into a quick recap of yesterday and try to see if we can make some money on today's slate, man. Like I said, just three games overall. So let's do just that. I do want to do a quick recap yesterday, and I'm done betting this team, but I did take Atlanta. The Atlanta Dream in the first half, minus the 1.5. They just looked like a shell of themselves. Just thinking that they would bounce back after losing the way that they did to the winless Mystics, but now they've lost to both of the worst teams in the WNBA because they couldn't come back yesterday either. So yeah, I liked them in the first half, and Fever had their best first half of the season. I thought Atlanta's defense would show up, but they didn't. Seattle minus the 6.5, and Seattle first quarter team total over 20.5 with both winners as well. Seattle barely got off to a slow start, barely got there with 21 points in the first quarter, but they kind of settled in as the game went on, as I kind of anticipated, and beat the Dallas Wings last night. And I had the team total over as a strong lean yesterday. It was on the short list. If you played that, it cashed too. I told you guys I thought they would get to 90 points, and they absolutely did yesterday. So pretty good day yesterday. We'll take the 2-1 and move forward for today. All of the numbers on the right hand side are updated. And we'll go through the comments really quickly before we jump into today's games. Let's see what you guys are seeing in the comments. What's up, HM? He says top of the top. The Gift the Gab says he won 600 last night on WNBA. Parlay each team to score 80 plus points. Like it. The overs have been cashing. Christian says having a hard time deciding Sparks or Lynx over or under the total. We'll talk about it. What up, Rob? He says, good morning, everyone. Just wanted to say thank you to Chris and the community. Another 4-1 day in the WNBA yesterday. Glad you cashed them, Rob. Love to hear that, man. Love to hear that. MP404 says, I'm going to put y'all on game. Good morning. Minus 114 is mostly to trend UN, I guess, when you see trend under, when you see, I don't know what this is talking about. What up, Tasha? He says, Boston sweep the Mavs. And speaking of Tasha, we're going to get into the t-shirt giveaway. Tasha, you were the winner. So just DM me. What we do right now, DM me either on Twitter or email me at ChrisBeCappinn 2 P's 2 N's, and let me know your t-shirt size and what color you want, and we will I'll get it in the mail for you before the weekend ends. What up to my guy Mark? He says happy Friday, Chris. Jacob says Boston's gonna lose to win at home in the bean, and I'm done with the dream they booty. Oh, with the Atlanta Dream. Okay. Christian talking about the Lynx and the under. We'll talk about that game here in a second. Damien says messing with the NBA at this point is a sign of mental illness, and I'm right there with you. I told you guys yesterday I'm probably not betting today's game, but we'll talk about it though. Bando, what's going on, man? Appreciate you for tapping in this morning. Fear Elite says, what's up, Chris? My RVA people. I keep forgetting Fear Elite from right up the street. Well, not up the street, but west of where I am here in the Ville. Let's see. PZ, what's going on to you? Appreciate you for tapping in this morning. It's Fever first half over cash. How about a cup of Joe says he locked in the Sky and the Mystics under. Rose asking about the Sky first quarter. We'll jump into all of these. Tasha says 13.5 is a lot of points, maybe first half. We'll talk about that. Guado says, Chris, what's going on? Good morning. Finally made it to a live show. What's up, Watcher? She says Mercury should have won in Indiana, almost fumbled the win. Yeah, they definitely did. Shout out to Leah Boss. I really think, I watched that game yesterday, and if the Fever played if they played basketball, making a more concerted effort to give Leah Boston the basketball, they'd be a much better team. Like she did her thing last night. It was a lot of Cheyenne Parker Tyus getting abused on the block by Leah Boston, but Tina Charles was in the mix as well. This was the Leah Boston that we saw last year, the one that was breaking all the rookie records for highest field goal percentage and points scored in the paint and all those different things. Like Leah Boston got game. Don't get it twisted. They just For whatever reason, Christy Sykes wasn't using her. She wasn't being as assertive and as aggressive. And if she plays like that, they're a much different team because they actually have they're not just a jump shot shooting team. They can play inside out. So I was kind of impressed with what Indiana was able to do yesterday. I did not see that coming, but I knew that Aaliyah Boston was capable of that. Let's see. What else? Connect to Smooth says finally made it live. Thanks for the Storm win yesterday. Glad you cashed that. Tasha, happy about getting her t-shirt. Yeah, just let me know what size you need, Tasha. Ace's game did go to like 202. I saw that. 103 to 99. I actually fell asleep on the game. What up, Kevin? He says I didn't see a green play. Didn't see a green play from you until late. I'm a new member. Missed that first quarter play. Yeah, I did send it out a little late, but you should have had time to get it in, Kevin. I should go straight to your email. Appreciate you for being a member, though. All right, so let's jump into the couple games that we have for today. It's only two. First game up, we got the Chicago Sky. They will be in DC, which is literally right up the road from me. They are getting the Washington Mystics are now getting 2.5 points, and we see a total sitting at 157. This is going to be a very interesting game, in my opinion. I see. So the line did move. I want to start there. The line did move. This line was you actually could have got the Sky plus, I think, +2 when it first opened. The reason why the line shifted 4.5 points is because the Mystics will be without Shakira Austin. She's already been rolled out for this game, and they also will be without Brittany Sykes. She actually rolled her ankle. I think it was her ankle late in that Mystics win against the Atlanta Dream when they got their first win the other day. So they're going to be without both of those players yet again, and we know that this Mystics team has not been great. You can see the numbers on the right-hand side. Their win that they got against the Atlanta Dream was their first win of the season. They have been competitive, 7-5-1 against the number, but at home, 0-5 straight up, 2-3 against the number, and they've already lost to the Sky team in DC as well. We know this is where Kennedy Carter was harassed, when she was in DC. So these two teams literally just played. The Sky beat them 79-71 in DC about 2 weeks ago. And Angel Reese is from Baltimore, so she turned up for that game as well. So you get a Mystics team, 2 days rest here. First game after a 2-game road trip and coming off a win as an outright dog. You can see their offensive numbers. They're still the worst rated offensive team in the WNBA, 7th defensively and 11th in net rating. Then you got a Chicago Sky team that's really been struggling, man, because I was monitoring this line yesterday. I was like, man, do I really want to take the Sky on the road? Like, they have not been great recently. They are coming off 1 day's rest, first road game after 2 straight home games, and they've lost back-to-back games. They've actually lost 4 of their last 5 games as well. Every game outside of the Mystics win, they've actually lost. This team, started off looking like juggernauts, but they've regressed a lot. The games have been competitive and close. They're losing by average of just 2 points per game, and they have been playing against some pretty good competition as well. They played against the Sun, lost that game. Not sure how they lost to the Dream. I think it was a little bit of a flat spot after beating the Mystics, but they lost to the Liberty, lost to the Fever as well. So I knew a lot of people was going to, jump on the Sky in this spot, and it makes sense, I guess, in a certain way because, like I said, they've already beat the Mystics. The Mystics will be without their best 2 players. But it's a game that I'm not really interested in. Like, I'd much rather pass on this game. You can see the Sky's record. They're 4-7 straight up, 5-6 against the number, 3-2 straight up on the road, 3-1-1 against the number, depending on where you were shopping. And their offense is not great. Their defense, middle of the pack, and they're the 6th net rated team in the WNBA as well. So these two, I don't feel like the Mystics are a 1-12 team. I think they're a little bit better than their record is. And I'm not sure what to do with this guy, man. I'm not really in a hurry to bet this game, like I said. If you look at the first half numbers specifically, because we know the Mystics have been really, really good in the first half. I thought that might be a way to play this game, but you really you need them to pretty much have a lead at halftime in this game, and that's something that really kind of scares me a tad bit. That I'm not getting a lot of points. So the Sky in the first half are 2-1 as a favorite, and 1-2 as a favorite. So that's not great. It's great if you like the Mystics, and the Sky also 2-3 in the first half on the road. Now you look at the Mystics. This team is 9-3, 9-3-1 overall in the first half, and 9-3-1 as a dog in the first half as well. So Mystics first half will be the only way that I would look. I'm not looking towards the under, not looking towards the over. I feel like the total is just a tad bit too low. I know the first game did go under, but I feel like the line makers are setting these totals just a tad bit too low. The Mystics, this is the last thing I'll say about the game. The Mystics are doing a much better job of kind of spreading the floor, and it feels like some of their role players like Walker Kimbrough off the bench, Van Loo, those players, not off the bench, but Ariel Atkins, like they're spreading the ball around. If you watch them play the Atlanta Dream, they were able to knock down some outside shots. So the Sky's defense doesn't really scare me from the perimeter at all. If Washington is able to knock down those shots and the Sky late in their rotations, I do think the Mystics, could continue that and be able to score the basketball here. So real quick, let me just check one more thing before I get to the comments and see what you guys are thinking about this one. But I'm interested to see, this is something I didn't get a chance to do. I'm interested to see the Washington Mystics defense. I'm sorry, the Chicago Sky's defense versus the three-point shot, because that's how Washington was able to get their first win. They just had the ball humming. It was moving left and right. It wasn't sticking at all, and they were knocking down those shots. I think they hit 17 three-pointers in that game, and they've not been a great three-point shooting offense. So the Mystics are second in above the break three makes. They are also fifth in above the break three attempts and shooting it at the second highest percentage. And the Sky's defense has actually been good there. They've been a pretty good team against three-point shots, left corner, right corner, and above the break. But they typically give it up inside, which is interesting. And I was talking about this the other day. The Chicago Sky's defense allows the most makes and attempts at the rim. And we talked about Elizabeth Williams being there. She's going to continue to miss time, of course. You got Cardoso coming in, getting a lot of those starter minutes. So, and Washington has actually had the highest restricted area field goal percentage. Remember, restricted area are shots 5 feet within the rim and closer. 65% versus the Chicago Sky, who are limited teams to just 59% in the restricted area, which is the third best, but teams are taking and making the most shots in the restricted area. So this kind of throws a wrench in it just a tad bit for me. I think if you like the Mystics, you like the Mystics, you just need them not to turn the ball over because Chicago Sky do force the second most turnovers. Washington turns it over at the third highest rate. And you need them to be able to slow down transition too, because Chicago Sky is not a team that's going to really kill you with their offense. It's more so on the defensive end. They like to get out and run. Fast break points, what are they? 6th in fast break points. And no, hold on. Let me change this real quick. Chicago Sky, Washington Mystics. So Chicago is 3rd in fast break points. So yeah, that's how they score. They like to get out in transition, offensive rebounds, that type of stuff. But yeah, I'm not really interested in the game. Just wanted to give you guys my looks. I'm not interested in the total, and I'm not interested in the side. But if I had to play anything, I think I will look at Mystics first half. I think you can get them plus a half. Let's see what you guys are saying about this one before we move on to the next game. Nook says, good morning. Bro, watch almost every day. First time catching you live. Appreciate that, Nook. And top of the morning to you as well. What up to my guy, Justin? Josh says he likes the under in this game. Graham Rising, ChrisBeCappinn game. Maybe I'll play something live. I don't feel it. I don't force plays, and I don't really feel anything in this one. These Nuts says, good morning, Chris. I went with Sky Team total first half under 40. I think that makes a lot of sense. If you expect Washington to win the first half, maybe their defense plays a little bit better. Washington defense has been pretty bad, but Chicago Sky's offense is not something that I'm really afraid of. As you can see in the graphic here, number 9th offensive rated team are the Chicago Sky. And like I said, if it's not Maria Mabry, I know Angel Reese has been playing a little bit better, but you don't want her being a primary offensive option. She's coming off a 20-point game. So yeah, this makes some sense to me. I know it's not the two greatest defensive teams, but maybe even the first half under these nuts to take away the variance that's in the second half. Even though the Mystics typically run out of gas, and I think they're the worst fourth quarter scoring team in the WNBA. Justin says Mystics 158.5 in his pocket. He bet it last night. Tasha likes the Sky team total over 79.5. Brittany says she likes the Sky on the money line here. Yeah, I think they couldn't win the game, but it wouldn't surprise me if the Mystics were able to squeak one out as well. Real quick, let me just go back to it. Kind of live capping it right now. So I said the Sky have lost 4 of their last 5 games. Those 4 losses came to the Fever, the Liberty. Fever is bad. That's a bad one. I know they were on the road. They lost that game by 1. The Liberty smoked them. That was a get-back game. They beat the Mystics by 8. That game went under. The total was 156.5. That game went under by 6.5 points. Then they lose to the Dream. That's why I don't really want to take them, especially on the road. Last 2 road losses, you can't go on the road and lose to the Fever and the Dream and then expect me to feel comfortable taking you in a road game. So I think that's what kept me off yesterday. And then the Sky, I mean the Sun, but that was at home. So yeah, don't let me talk to you, Brittany. I'm just not there with you. PZ likes the first half money line for the Mystics. That might be something that I would be going with as well. Let's see. What else we got in here? What up, Sarah? Appreciate you for tapping in this morning. Ulysses says, I like the first quarter. Washington team total over 19.5. And I think shout out to my guy Dream. Dream pointed this lookout the other day against the Dream. Dream pointed this out against the Dream. The Mystics were playing against the Dream. He said that first quarter team total over. I think they scored like 24 points. So yeah, and also the other thing is I'd be remiss without mentioning this. Chicago Sky, I know that they don't score a lot of points, but they are one of the fastest paced teams in the WNBA. They play the 3rd fastest pace. Offense not that great, but that's one of the reasons why they try to get out and push and transition as much as possible. So a little bit too much time on this game, but I was trying to find something. Nothing really sticks out to me too much, so I'll skip this one and just root for you guys on whatever it is that you play. Let's go on to the next game. Two ugly games in the WNBA, in my opinion. We got the Sparks. Oh, Lord. This is that's right. We got the Sparks and the Lynx. I thought I had the Sparks laying points. Lynx laying 13.5 in this game. Of course, it's the biggest spread that they've had so far this season. Total sitting at 160. Let me just double check that. Yeah, total sitting at 160 right now. And it's actually come down from 162.5, I think, is what it opened at. So, matter of fact, let me just double check that real quick. I like to know where these totals are coming from. Give me 1 second. 162.5 is what it opened at, and it's down to 160 now. So, in this game, let's talk about it. We got a Sparks team that's coming off 2 days rest, second straight road game. I think the Sparks are on a 7-game road trip as well. This is only the second one. Of course, we faded them correctly against Seattle. We took Seattle team total over. That was the winner the other day. And now they play against the Lynx team they might be playing against the 2 most difficult teams and the 2 best teams in the WNBA, or at least 2 of the 3. We got to throw Liberty in there as well. But back-to-back games against 2 really difficult teams if you're the Storm here. You can see their seasonal numbers. They're 4-8 straight up, 4-7-1 against the number. On the road, they're just 1-4 straight up, 2-3 against the number. And you can see a lot of it has been their offense. They're a 10th rated offensive team in the W, which is the 3rd worst, 8th rated defense, and 10th in net rating as well. And then you get a Lynx team that's probably, arguably the best team in the WNBA so far, especially with the wins that they got against the Seattle Storm, 3 of them. And they're 9-3 straight up, 10-2 against the number, best ATS team in the W, 5-1 both straight up and against the spread at home so far this season. And they also have a 2 days rest after beating the Liberty, 5-1 straight up and against the number in their last 6 games as well. They went and beat the Liberty outright as a dog the other day, beat them it scored almost 100 points in that game as well. And you can see the numbers here for the Lynx as well. 3rd best offensive team, 2nd best defensive team, and the number 1 in net rating as well. This is a juggernaut type team, man. So when I was looking into it, the Sparks, because 13.5, I think Tasha said it this morning, 13.5 is a really, really big number. The Sparks lose by an average of 11 points per game on the road. With their most recent 2 losses actually coming by 16 to the Storm and they lost by 19 to the Mercury in their last 2 road games. Now, of course, that was without having Lasia Clarendon. Rika Jackson, of course, has been playing a little bit better as well off the bench. Eric McDonald's been looking really good coming over from the Atlanta Dream last season. And Sparks have also tried to, play with a little bit more pace. So then I look at the Lynx, and let me see something real quick. So then I look at the Lynx, and the Lynx are winning by an average of 11 points at home, and they've won by 14, which is what you need them to win by if you take them on the spread here, in 3 of their 6 games so far. Sparks are averaging 78 points in their road games, and they played road games against the Aces, the Fever, the Sky, the Mercury, and the Storm. Their team total is 73.5. They've gone over that in every single game except the game against the Sky. They finished at 73, and every single road game. The only other game was the Mercury, where they only scored 68 points. That was the big letdown game. But their defense has actually been worse, right? I just talked about this the other day. The defense is not, they really can't stop anybody. And I think that's one of their biggest issues is because they're such a young team, they haven't really figured it out defensively. If you notice something in the WNBA is that the young teams always struggle on the defensive end, which leads me to, they're giving up 87 points per game on the road. I think the Minnesota Lynx team total for today is 86.5. Let me double check that real quick. Yeah, 86.5 is the Minnesota Lynx team total. So if you go through and just look at the box score, Sparks on the road have given up 95 to the Storm, 87 to the Mercury, 83 to the Sky, 82 to the Fever, 89 to the Aces. So I know, some people probably think, the way I kind of view the game is I don't know how locked in the Lynx going to be to play the Sparks. Like that to me seems a tad bit scary. So can the Sparks get to 73 points, 74 points? I think they potentially could. And even if they can't, I don't think that they can slow the Minnesota Lynx down. This is a really good, team that shares the basketball. I think they're number 1 in the assist rate in the WNBA. So it doesn't really matter if it's, Feezy F. Baby scoring, if it's Courtney Williams hitting the pull-up jump shot. Kayla McBuckets has been the best shooter, the most efficient shooter in the WNBA. All of the threes that she's been making recently. Then you got Elena Smith out there. Like they just have such a well-rounded team, and this is all without Diamond Miller, of course. So I actually like this game to go over. I know that the total's coming down. I think even if the Sparks struggle to score, I think Minnesota can score as much as they would want to in this game. And then I found a really strong trend for it as well. So we just go back 2 years and we go since the 2022 season. I looked at home favorites that are laying 10.5 points or more with a total that's below 162, and they're 12-3 to the over. I think the Lynx could let up a little bit defensively tonight. I don't know if they're going to be super locked in to play against the Sparks. They've already clinched the Commissioner's Cup. It will be them versus the Liberty, so you don't really have anything to play for in that regard, in my opinion. So yeah, I think it's a little bit of an over game. I like the Lynx to be able to score, and I like the full game to go over. And I think we can include the Sparks in there as well. I don't think the Sparks are going to be. I think the Sparks will find ways to score and get up and over their team total as well. So those are my thoughts on that game. It'll be Lynx. Lynx and Sparks over the 160. I think it's a 159.5 out there as well. And then I would be looking at the Lynx team total to go over as well. The Lynx have been one last thing I'll say about this game. Lynx are averaging 86 points in their home games. The Sparks, in my opinion, are below average defense. They scored 1-2 against the Storm. That game wasn't overtime though. They scored 95 against the Mercury, 87 against the Wings, and 83 against the Storm. But that was a slow pace, great defensive type matchup. So yeah, I like this. I like the Lynx to be able to score. I think the Sparks can contribute as well. Let's see what you guys are saying about this one before we move over to the last game in the actual NBA. Jamie says first half under 82. He says Lynx are 5-1 to the under in the first half at home, 80 points per game, while the Sparks are just 1-4 to the under on the road, 71 points. Love this look. So he's thinking a little bit of the game may start off slow, under 82.5. I wonder what that Sparks team total is in the first half, and just to kind of isolate it. Um, Sparks are averaging. Ooh, Sparks are averaging just 30. What is that? 32 points, 33 points on the road in the first half. Let's see if we can find the Sparks first half team total. Team total first half. You can get a 35 and a half. 35 and a half available on DraftKings right now. Los Angeles Sparks first half team total under 35 and a half. So if you like that, you might want to isolate it. Maybe you don't. The Lynx team total is 43 and a half in the first half, and that's a pretty high number as well. Thinking that they're going to come out and score, on average 21 points per quarter in the first half. So look there from my guy Jamie. Jabba the Hunt says, no way in hell I can lay 13 and a half. The only thing I'm taking is the team total over for the Lynx. Okay. How is the Mystics transition defense? Cuppa Joe says. I'll answer this real quick and then get back to it. So the Lynx actually are third in the Mystics are third in fast break points allowed. They're only allowing 9.2 per game. Whereas the Chicago Sky are third in fast break points scored. So yeah, that's not a big advantage for the Chicago Sky. Shouldn't be on paper, Cuppa Joe. Let's see. WNBA is also a better league when the Lynx are relevant. I would agree with that. Z's Nuts says, I like Lynx tonight. They're healthy for the most part. Dorka Juhas is listed as game time decision. I think she's gonna play. Says I like the over in the game. I think the Sparks struggle to stop the Lynx, but also get some points of their own. I agree with that. Christian says, so over 160 and Sparks plus 13.5. No, I'm not taking the Sparks plus 13.5, but I do like the over. I just think that both teams can contribute. What up, 3-time? RB10 says, good morning, Chris. Let's make this a great Friday. Right there with you as well. Zachariah pointing out that 35.5 is their first half team total, which is the Sparks in this spot. What up to my guy Maurice? And Jeremy also says, good morning. I'm going for the LA Sparks in this one. All right, let's jump over to the NBA. We got a game 4 tonight, and this line is sitting at a pick now. I mentioned to you guys it's at a pick at most places. You can get Boston -1, you can get Dallas -1, but the pick looks like is the consensus. And excuse me. And I want to double check something before we jump into this one. Yeah, I just want to double check something before we jump into this one. All right, so game 1, just a recap of the series. Game 1, I was on Boston first half minus the 3.5, and it was a winner. Game 2, I came back on Dallas, the team total over, and Dallas on the money line. All 3 losers, but they were all small plays, so it didn't really hurt too bad. Game 3, of course, as most of the world was, I was on Dallas minus the 1.5, and I've lost. I'm 1-4 in the finals so far, and a lot of it is due to, in my opinion, Luka being a traffic cone out there on defense, which we already kind of talked about. I have no idea what's going to happen in this game. I do think Boston, go ahead. I know some people are thinking Boston, loses this game to win in front of their fans. I've never been somebody that believes in anything like that. And I also think that Boston is undefeated on the road. Why wouldn't Boston want to have an undefeated playoff run on the road? In my opinion, Boston gets this done. I know, from a bounce back perspective, Lucas should come out and, he took a lot of criticism, as he should have, because his defense has been absolutely atrocious. If you guys had a chance to see the stat on his blow-by rate, has been the highest in WNBA history, and NBA history, with him just being a traffic cone out there. Everybody's just kind of picking on Luka, getting by them. There's no effort. And why would you want to take that plane ride to Boston just to lose the game 5, in my opinion? And also I just think that the consistency just isn't there. I think the most difficult thing to watch when I had Dallas in my pocket for game 3 was their inability to be able to get consistent good looks. And that's really what it comes down to, in my opinion. Like, every shot that Dallas made felt like it was just this, horse shot. Like, it was some kind of spectacular shot, whether it was Kyrie with his left hand, using the glass, contested, fade away. Like, it just feels like Boston can get whatever it is that they want. So I'm not interested in playing the Mavs. I don't care if they're trying to avoid a sweep. I don't care about the narratives that Boston want to win at home. Boston hasn't lost a game on the road. They're 7-0 straight up. And we see their defense be a lot better as well on the road. So if I'm playing the game, I'm taking Boston. But I think the one thing that jumped out to me when I was just looking at the game and going through the queries, and I'll touch on this real quick too before I get into the total. Like I said, Dallas just has not been. I mean, they had an offensive rating of like 100, and offensive rating throughout the playoffs I think was like a 115. So that just speaks to how well Boston's defense has been. And a lot of it has been the role players. Dallas hasn't been able to shoot. They shot 36% from the three-point line finally after shooting 23% and 26% in game 1 and game 2, and still got to 99 points. Still could only get to 99 points, and that was after they came out and scored 31 points in the first quarter. So, 20-point quarter in the second quarter, a 19-point quarter in the third quarter is not going to get the job done. I don't know. I don't think that there's another adjustment that can happen. With Porzingis, without Porzingis, I don't really think it matters. I think, one thing we've done is kind of underestimate, or at least I've done, is underestimated, Boston's will to win. And we saw it in game 3. Like I said, I just don't think that Dallas is going to get enough quality shots. And it feels like every shot is a really, really difficult one. And we got to credit Boston. They've been one of the better defensive teams, them in the Minnesota Timberwolves. So I like Boston to win the game and go ahead and get it over with. Of course, Luka probably have a 45-point, 15 rebound, 12 assist type game, but I don't think Boston defense is going to go for that in this one, and that's one of the reasons why. I also think, and last thing I want to mention is I want to talk about the total. So 211.5 is a pretty low total. Each one of the games, of course, have gone under. All 3 games have gone under so far. And when I was looking into it, I think it was yesterday. So in the finals, in game 4s, this was enough for me anyway. There's always adjustments that's going to be made. There's always going to be adjustments that's made. Always going to be most of them defensive adjustments, because when you get, in my opinion, this is the way I kind of look at it. As the series goes on, you get tired. You get more tired. You get all of the weight of the whole entire season, and it's really difficult to make shots in the finals. We continuously see this over and over again, every single year. So when I think about that, and then I think about game 4 in the finals specifically being 16-4-1 to the under, so they're cashing at 80%, dating all the way back to 2003. I think it's an under type series. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 of the last 10 game 4s have all gone under the total, only averaging about 100 and I can't even see that number honestly. But last year, the Heat and the Nuggets had a total of 211. That game went under by 8 points. So it's not even really close. 8 points, 9.5 points, 7 points, 21 points, 18 points, 23 points. All of the games have actually gone under. So I want to add something real quick just to give you guys a more accurate number. Yeah, never mind. I think that's good enough. So I like under. I like Celtics and I like under. You put that together, maybe it's a Dallas Mavericks team total under. Will I bet it? Probably not. Just because the finals have been putrid to me, man. It's been really, really bad. But maybe I'll get there. Let's see what you guys are saying about this one before we jump off of here. What up, Jeff? Tasha says Mavs team total under, Boston money line. and game to go under. She want to parlay them all together, or she might be picking them separately. Big guy says Angel Reese 10 rebounds or more. Yeah, I couldn't talk you off Angel Reese to get 10 boards. Outside of Leah Edwards, they don't have a lot of size out there. And she at the crib again. She not from DC. She's from Baltimore, but she had it turned up in DC the last time she went up there. So yeah, I couldn't talk you off. And she continues to just go over her rebound props. I couldn't talk you off at all. Mark says, I'm headed to Galveston this weekend to meet my Mavs. Oh, man. That's terrible. Tasha says she liked the first half to go under as well. Jeremy says, I'm going for Dallas. Tasha says, never mind. Kyrie does not want to go back to Boston. I wouldn't want to go back to Boston if I was Kyrie either. You pack it in. It's over, man. This series is over. Tasha says, I've been seeing Boston since the beginning of the season. You're right. PG says Celtics close the door tonight and end the series 4-0. I would agree with that. Tasha says Drew Holiday been shutting them down, and that's a fact. Z's Ness says I would like to think the Celtics start up fired up in the first quarter. Then things kind of even out after that, and the game is somewhat close, but Boston can get the W. And I agree with that as well. Cup of Joe says he likes the under. Jeff says Luka going to see if he can get the pace even slower, get some more whining in. Yeah, I think he's probably done whining now, but it's too late now. I mean, we finally saw that come to fruition in the playoffs at the highest level. Luka just crying. People been talking about it for a while. Shout out to my guy Jay Money. He's been talking about Luka crying since before the season started. And yeah, you just see him trying to, going out there baiting fouls. He's just not. This is the one series where Luka's, unathletic ability really, bit him in the butt, because I was talking to one of my homeboys about this. On offense, Luka kind of plays at his own pace. He kind of reminds me a little bit of like a Paul Pierce, maybe a little bit more elite, offensive package. But Luka can play at his own pace on offense because he gets to his spots when he wants to, whether he wants to, be shifty or crafty or whatever the case might be. When he gets to a spot, he just can make the shot, probably with his eyes closed because there's so much muscle memory. On defense, not as much, because when you have to guard all of those four guards, those interchangeable four guards, they're just blowing right by you. Boom, boom. Like you can't, you need to be shifty and be able to move laterally on defense. And he out there looking like Rudy Gobert, if we're being honest. Like he's getting blown by. He really looks like an orange traffic cone on defense. And I don't think that that's going to change. Let's see. Justin says, since this is the last game, it's mandatory I win another shirt tonight. Yeah, so yeah, you guys can let me know what you think the game. This is the last. Well, I think it's gonna be the last game. Too. I'm in agreement with Justin. So yeah, predict the score. And I'll do this one I'll do two shirts. I'll do one for members and one for non-members. So if you're a member, or if you're a non-member, just predict the score of the game. And let me know who you think is gonna win the game. So if you think Boston's gonna win, I think Tasha had 110 to 100 in the last one, and that was a winner. Just pick the score and pick who you think is going to win. And I'll announce the winners tomorrow. What else are we seeing in this one? Tasha says, I'm parlaying that, Chris, just like I did the last game. Okay. And Cup of Joe said he's definitely on Angel Reese's over on her rebounds. Big Guy says he likes Luka to go under 51.5 points, rebounds, and assists tonight. And Kendrick says he likes Derek White over his rebounds. Mark says, of you like the Celtics tonight, look at betting the series 4-0, better payout. I was interested in that, Mark. I'm interested to see what that is. And that may be something that I end up getting to. I'm glad you mentioned it. Shout out to my guy, Mark. Appreciate that. Jamie says, good morning, Chris. And yep, Luka is not mature enough to understand the moment, but this is where his experience will come from, looking towards the finals. Not betting tonight. No betting tonight for me. Right there with you, Jamie. Absolutely agree. He'll look back at it, right? And that's what it feels like it's always that way, man. I know I'm talking long and I'm about to get off here, but it does feel like it's always kind of that way, right? Like the player who gets to the finals the first time always loses to the team that has more experience. It always feels that way. Remember when Boston got to the finals a couple years ago and they were playing against Golden State, and I felt like they had the better talent. They end up losing because of the veteran leadership and Steph and Clay and Draymond and Coach Kerr, having won titles already. That was Jaylen Brown's and Jason Tatum's first time. And now you get Luka here on the big stage, even though we felt like he was going to be the best player in the series, and his deficiencies really, show up. His weaknesses really show up, and specifically has been on the defensive end. We've never talked about, how bad Luka's defense has been, but the Boston Celtics have kind of exposed that. Shout out to Joe Mazzulla for for making sure he exposed them, and a lot of credit got to go to Joe Mazzulla too, because I didn't see Joe Mazzulla, being able to outcoach Jason Kidd. A lot of it is shot making too. Dallas just can't make a shot for whatever reason. Tim Hardaway Jr., I saw something that said Tim Hardaway Jr. hasn't scored since like March the 18th or something. And Tim Hardaway Jr. was actually in the running for Sixth Man of the Year at one point this season. It's been absolutely crazy. How about a cup of Joe? Says she likes 107, 102 Beantown. Tasha's going 105, 101. What up, LA? Says I'm late, but give him Dallas 105 to 103. Appreciate that, Kenneth, as well. Rose says, who gets MVP tonight? The best player? No idea. No idea who's winning MVP. Honestly, it could go down to whoever has the best game tonight. I mean, Boston, it's going to be hard to figure out who's going to win that MVP. In my opinion, Porzingis had the biggest impact in game one. Probably Drew Holiday in game two. It was definitely Jason Tatum in game three. So no idea who's going to win. Probably whoever has the best game tonight of those guys, honestly. And it's a toss-up right now, in my opinion. But that's what Boston is, a well-balanced juggernaut. All right, so let's get into the recap, man. We've been on here for almost 45 minutes. Minnesota, I haven't played any of these. You see all on the short list. Do my due diligence and make my plays a little later. But Minnesota, like I said, I think that they're able to score the basketball tonight against the Sparks. Team total over 86.5. Like that full game to go over as well. Remember, I said home favorites since the 2022 season, laying 10.5 points or more with a total that's below 162. They typically end up going over. 12-3 to the over are those games. And then Boston, Dallas, I also said game fours of the finals are 16-4-1 to the under. So I like the under 211.5 in this game as well. Those are the top plays, in my opinion, on the board for today, man. Best of luck on all your action. Resources that I use are here. Talk about them all the time. Definitely check out OddsJam if you guys are new. You can get 25% off your first month using code CBC if you want to sign up and check out their sports betting software. You can cancel at any time, but they do have the best sports betting software in the world, in my opinion. And speaking of links, the link for that is in the description, along with the link for all my official plays when I do make them for people who are interested in becoming members. Love getting on here, being able to talk the games out with you guys. A lot of, really smart, sharp cappers in the chat as well, bringing a lot of valuable insight. So if you're still watching now, you made it this far, make sure you hit that thumbs up button, share the show, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Best of luck on all your action for the day, man. Make sure you guys are betting responsibly. And I'll catch you guys in the next one, man. I am out. Also, enjoy your Friday. Enjoy your weekend as well. Catch you guys in the next one.